for truth seekers everywhere, restoring the Republic, fighting for you, the American people. This is The Alex Morgan Show.
Got a little treat for you this evening.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide to escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. Easy go, little high, little low. Any way the wind blows, nothing really matters to me. Come on, just kill the man. Put a gun against his head. Pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just begun. But now I've gone and thrown it all away. Mama, didn't mean to make you cry. Cause nothing really matters. Too late, my time has come. Sent shivers down my spine. Body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody. I've got to go. I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening. Galileo, Figaro. Magnifico! I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy, and the in his life from this monstrosity. Easy come, easy go, will you let me go? Bismillah, no, we will not let you go. Let him go! Bismillah, we will not let you go. Let him go! Bismillah, we will not let you go. Let me go! We'll not let you go. We'll not let you go.
You're not perfect.
Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia, let me go. Beelzebub has a devil put aside for me, for me, for me. So you think you can stop me and spit in my eyes? So you think you can love me and leave me to die? Oh, baby, can you just do the baby?
One of the best songs ever right there. I couldn't resist. Welcome to this late edition of the show. I'll be your host, Alex Morgan. I hope there's not been much going on for y'all this evening. I've been pretty busy. As you can probably tell by the sound of my voice, I'm pretty tired. But there was a lot of news that I didn't get to earlier today, and I thought that I should come back and share it, because if I don't take time to, 4 or 5 days will pass and it'll be old news, you know. So that's a lot of my problem here lately. I stay so busy through the day, and I don't got time to do nothing really. And then when I finally do get time to, you know, work, and or after I get through working and stuff, I'm too killed to sit here and talk to y'all for 3 hours, and well, pretty much talk to myself, you might as well say. Ain't nobody ever called, ain't nobody. You saw your, Mother Hubbard is going to start calling me, is all I know. You're going to listen to my show, you got to pick up the phone, dog. 276-524-0047, and tell me what you think about it. And whatever, man. But anyways, coming on later, we got Jay Woo, John Wooten, my good buddy, my good neighbor living down the road here. We're going to talk about all this dumb stuff that's going on in this poor old crazy world that they call planet Earth. I'm not sure what it should be called. To be honest, I've been experimenting with my little mic thingy and my new microphone stand I got, and I cannot never get it just right. Looks like I'm going to have to install me something right there so I can broadcast like on Periscope or something like that. Which I don't care much about Periscope, man. People on there think that you need to be a Twitter celebrity or something there for they can listen to you or talk to you on a little broadcast or whatever. Man, I don't like it. Like, I've had up to like 20 some people before on my show, but I never could get nobody to talk to me or nothing. Everybody just sit there with their teeth in their mouth, like they had never seen a Morgan boy before or something, So I didn't know. Yeah, so that didn't last very long, naturally, and whatever. I'm just not a Cernovich or who else is big Twitter scope geeks. I don't ever do no Facebook broadcast either. I share my links and stuff on there. I ain't much on Facebook really. Here's my favorite thing I got going on the internet, I guess, let me talk to myself and hell, everybody else, I don't want to talk to them no way, If they want to talk to me, they'll call me. My number's 276-524-0047. My phone line is open and you can call me anytime. But anyway, let's jump into some news here. Give me just a second to get the old brain pumping. Get the old oxygen in the lungs. Now, that right might would work, but I really don't know. I'm going to try it anyways, just to be a dumb, curious person, and I hope it turns out. I'm just a poor boy. They'll be right eye to eye with me, but I don't care. You reckon they will? I'd say they won't watch it no way, It's pretty much just an experiment anyway, just to see what happens and how these people react towards me and, that sort of thing. Because I'm telling you, they ain't never met nobody like me before. I can tell that. It's like I speak a foreign language or something other and some kind of color that they ain't never seen before too, yeah. But that's okay. Different is good. You know. Whatever, we don't care what they think over there. That Twitter scope place. Do we? Now, it's already moving around, but I'm gonna work on it a little more, I guess. It's got some really good grip stuff on it, and I know it. It works pretty good. It's just not the best thing in the world for this, and I know it. And plus, it shakes my mic when I touch it, so that especially does not help. But like, I just want y'all to know, the reason I don't play much music is because of all this copyright stuff. Yeah, I can't play one song, man, without getting a copyright claim after my stuff uploads. Like, their algorithms and stuff is programmed to pick up on like certain melodies and certain rhythms or certain lyrics to certain songs, and so it's hard to get around. So I just decided to say, the hell with YouTube, man, because I ain't getting no money from no Google or nobody else neither. You know, I'm pretty much doing this. If I get 10,000 views and I get 10,000 views and they can monetize me and whatever, you know. If I don't, then whatever. I'm sure I'll eventually get to 10,000, but it might take me a little while. Just now for like 300 or something, which is pretty much pathetic, being that I've had a channel for a little over a month now, maybe 2 months, yeah. Which, it was the suckiest thing on YouTube right there at first, I'll admit, but, you know, I was a good sport, and I stuck in there, and, you know, whatever. I don't care, really. I like making good like-minded people and that sort of thing. I'm not going to be doing no Twitter scoping tonight. This phone right here's going dead. And to HE double hockey sticks with it, cause we don't care about no Twitter scope, no way. If anybody out there would like to buy some advertising right there, you know, at a good reasonable price that ain't, you know, outrageous, like, you know, it's one of these major networks or something, you can email me at the alexmorganshow@gmail.com or bigalmorgan@live.com. alexmorgan9183@gmail.com. Give me your contact information or whatever. I need sponsors. Which naturally, I'm going to be blacklisted anyway. So please, if there's anybody out there who still considers themselves conservative whatsoever, or even if you're like a old time liberal, like, you know, that even though you believe in like all these differences and all this, like you also believe in Americana too, which is possible. The liberals of today ain't liberals. I don't care what they say. They can call themselves Bigfoots if they want to, but just because you say your name's Sasquatch and you live down the river, that don't mean that you're 7.5 foot tall and from down Confluence. How I know, but yeah. Anyways. I'm sure a lot of y'all know that, especially a lot of y'all older folks who lived through the hippie movement and all that disco stuff and know what a liberal really is. There is a difference. Today's Democratic Party are a bunch of communist infiltrated, undercover bodies of truth, lying scum. That's what they are. They can't tell the truth. If you ask them, when's the last time that they had a bowel movement, they'd tell you that they never did have no bowel movements. That there's something wrong with you. You need to go get checked out, buddy. There's something wrong with you. Yeah. Which the Republican establishment, they ain't much better. Talk about a bunch of fakes. They're fake. Fuck Paul Ryan. Little Eddie Munster, Paul Ryan, John McCain, hello. I don't see many of these Republicans stay in office very long. I really don't. Their time is came, and they're probably getting ready to go out to pasture. I ain't gonna be supporting no Democrats, though. I don't believe in no kind of race or nothing like that. But I'll put it like this: if there's a good candidate that's running on the Republican or an independent ticket or something that I like better than the person who's in office, then hey, they got my support 120%. You see all this money going to all these minorities. Which they ain't nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not crying if that's what you think. But if there's anybody a minority, it's us. It's us good, hard working, red-blooded Americans. Yeah, right here in these hollers. You talk about being a minority, and it seems like all these pharmaceutical companies and all these politicians and all these doctors have always been afraid of us country boys for some reason. It seemed to me like all they've ever tried to do is kill every one of us that they could. Whether it was with Oxycontin, Xanax, methadone, fentanyl, these experimental chemo and radiation treatments that they give you after you get cancer. All this stuff they put in the water, tell you your teeth won't rot out. Hey, don't listen to them. Look at me. I've been through this. I've been on this earth pretty close to 3.5 decades right there. I've seen a lot during my time. But I tell you this, if I tell you something other, you can pretty much take it to the bank. I might get a little wrong information now and then. I ain't, perfect. Don't try to be, but yeah, it's just part of it. You get good info and you get bad info. The truth, the thing about it is, you got to learn how to distinguish the truth from the bull, and what you can't, you just keep it to yourself until there's further developments or something like that. But anyways, I wanted to tell y'all that I got some coffee cups. I ain't got them up on my website yet or not. $15 a piece. If you'd like a Alex Morgan Show coffee cup and be the only dude on your block with the baddest coffee cup on the planet, send me an email right there and I'll give you a few details and send me $15 and I'll send you a damn coffee cup. I'm not for sure if I have to charge shipping. I'll have to wait and see, because I ain't even ordered one myself. I'm broke, man. Yeah, I don't think I got money. Got no job. If y'all got a job, holler at me about that too. You can email me, call me. I live in Kentucky, Hyden, Kentucky. I got a car. I got a driver's license. I got a resume. I work. Be there every day. But I was starting to think that my phone number wasn't working the other day, so I called it, and it was working. Let's call it right now and see if it's working. I don't think it's working, guys. It's just ringing off the hook. Let's see what's up right there. When it rains, it pours. When it snows, it usually snows, Let me see right here. What was the last thing we watched? We was watching Putin, wasn't we? I was telling y'all what a cool cat Putin was. Hey, it did work. Answer. It won't let me. Hey, if that was you, if whoever that was call me back at number 276-524-0047. I'm sorry about that. I tried to answer you. You said I was trying to watch me push it. They calling back. Huh. I don't know what's the matter with it. Definitely having some technical difficulties right there, and I know it. Let's see. Hold on. Give me just a second here. Let me work on this thing just for a minute. Any of y'all going on vacation this year? But I said, oh yeah, I'm on vacation. If y'all ain't coming back already from 4th of July, I'd sure like to be on vacation. That would be awesome. Okay, if y'all want to try to call me back right there, you can go ahead and try it. I think it's going to work this time. I actually got a new one right then. Hey, I'll just give you my cell phone number. Is what I ought to do. I hate to do that though. That's a little bit too personal. And yeah, I better not do that. I might end up regretting that one of these days. Let me see if I can get this new one right here to work. Let's get into some news here. I don't know what's going on. Congress returns to battle over healthcare budget. There you say, Eddie Murphy and Granny Clampett, or Granny Clampett's son, whatever, Mr. Mitch, the lying bitch, McConnell. I actually had a little bit of respect for him a while back, but I kind of lost it after he sent me that email talking about Russian collusion and the Russians hacking the election and all this. You know, listen, I'm not no intelligence agent. I'm not no Senate Intel Committee member. I'm not nothing, okay? When it comes to, I'm a U.S. citizen, but I got enough sense to know that the only people who hacked our elections was the Democrats. And they broke into 11 or 12 states, and they still couldn't stop it. The Trump support, the voters, the supporters at the poll, it was unreal. They couldn't stop the Trump wave. The Hill, the kill couldn't stop the Don Corleone. That's all you can say about that. She can blame Russia, she can blame WikiLeaks, and she can say that them was the same people. She can blame anybody she wants to. She lost the election, and you libs can blame anybody you want to also, but it won't do no good. It's over with, you know. Look what we put up with for 8 years while he gave Iran nuclear weapons, while he gave away our wealth by the billions, maybe trillions. Let's read this article right here. I'm sorry, I digress. This is from the Associated Press. It doesn't give a name. Washington AP. Congress is still trying to send President Trump his first unqualified legislative triumph. Nearly 6 months after Republicans grab full control of Washington, now lawmakers are returning from their July 4th recess with an added objective: averting some full-blown political disasters. The GOP campaign to repeal Democrat Barack Obama's health care is bogged down in the Senate and flirting with collapse. Efforts to pass a budget are stuck. There's no tax code overhaul package. Spending bills are in limbo, and it's unclear how leaders will find the votes to avert a federal default. The difficulties flow from Republican divisions. Collectively, the problems are threatening the sink top GOP priorities and undermine the party's ability to show it can govern effectively. You got that shit right, hey. And I tell you what, man, if our broadcast went out way back, it's like this. You got the destructive Democrats, you know, who are obstructing justice, who are colluding with foreign governments, who are taking money from foreign governments, who are doing bad stuff. I'll leave it like that, okay? But the Republicans ain't much better, okay? Because if they had half a brain, they just wait. They just let this thing die. If they're gonna do anything, they need to repeal it. They're never gonna come up with a health care plan that's gonna suit the Democrats. I'll tell you that right now. What they need to do, if they want to do it their way, which I don't know what to say about it. Listen, everybody needs insurance. That's the facts. But these people that has to pay for it, they can't pay everybody's health care too, you know. So not to mention there was Obama giving these healthcare companies monopoly and just control over these people and putting death panels on these people and charging them like $2,000 and $3,000 deductibles. Are you kidding me? And it was supposed to be like $4,000 in Wisconsin in 2016, I think. Yeah. Can you imagine that? Paying that for health insurance? I mean, really. The only time I ever paid for it, I was working and I was making good money. I didn't miss it. I had to pay a little copay here and there, maybe like $10 if I went to the doctor, and I don't know, maybe $2 on prescription or something like that. But yeah, we had good insurance, good dental, good vision, all that. I wish something like that would happen again. But yeah, if y'all want to give me a call right there, you can. I can put you on live chat. Want to talk like that. Whatever. If you can make this noise right here. Down to business. Let's get back to this article right here. Get bored easy. Look over there. I forgot. Oh, it's Roscoe. I didn't know what that was. I know I heard something. The difficulties flow from Republican divisions. Collectively, the problems are threatening to sink top GOP priorities and undermine the party's ability to show it can govern effectively. Lawmakers have 3 weeks of work before August recess. Some Republicans are making noise about shortening the respite, but doing so would be a step shy of sacrilege on Capitol Hill. Healthcare nail-biter 2. It took the House several ties to pass its bill aiming to annul much of Obama's health care law. Now, Senate Majority Leader Mitch the Bitch McConnell is struggling to find GOP votes for a similar package, replacing that 2010 statute that won easing insurance coverage requirements, cutting Medicaid, erasing penalties on people not buying insurance, and repealing tax increase on the well-off. See right there, folks. See right there what Mitch McConnell is. I don't agree with that neither, okay? Hey, just because I voted for Donald Trump, that don't make me no damn Republican, I can tell you that. I might run on a Republican ticket if I was going to run for anything, but that's just because of my Christian beliefs and all that. But another thing, like, it depends on what kind of race you're in, okay? If you're going to run for dog catcher or something like that, you probably couldn't run on the independent and get it, But if you're going to run for something like, say, what would you run for if you weren't going to run for dog catcher? I mean, that's the best job in government right there. Except maybe jailer. I'd run for jailer. If I wasn't going to run for dog catcher, I guess. I don't know. I don't much want to be a jailer. Lock these old people up. Not me. No, thank you. I thought about it one time. I wouldn't want to be a sheriff either, because there you are responsible for all that tax money. Which, let me tell you something. That ain't nothing. Like, you just have to take care of it, do the right thing. Unlike prior sheriffs of Leslie County, Not to mention no names or anything. Well, in just a second here, we'll get back to that in just a second. I gotta do one thing. I was going to see if John was ready to come on. McConnell, Republican Kentucky, unexpectedly called off a pre-recess vote on the measure, which he'd written privately as it became clear he would lose. With Democrats arrayed unanimously against him, McConnell needs at least 50 to 52 GOP senators to vote yes or witness the mortifying crumbling of his party's high decibel pledge to uproot Obama's law. McConnell has been collaborating changes that might win over worried Republicans, but there's no sign that he made progress. Two GOP senators, Bill Cassidy of Louisiana and John McCain of Arizona, issued dire forecast on Sunday saying the initial bill was probably, quote, dead, unquote. Revisions under consideration would lessen the bill's Medicare cuts, boost spending for programs combating drug abuse, fatten health care subsidies for low earners, and make it easier for insurers to sell skimpier, lower cost policies. A vote is expected no earlier than this week, July 16th. McConnell has said if the measure flops, he'd push a narrow bill propping up ailing health insurance marketplaces. Let me tell you something. Mitch McConnell ain't nothing, okay? Mitch McConnell needs to retire. Mitch McConnell needs to just get his little Social Security check and go play golf and watch the Beverly Hillbillies and realize that him and Granny are definitely related right there some way. They's definitely a monkey in the woodpile somewhere. Okay, you heard that here, right here first on the Alex Morgan Show. Write that down. A budget morass. Republicans are stuck on a fiscal blueprint for the coming budget year with disputes between conservatives and moderates over how deeply to cut programs like food stamps. None of the 12 annual spending bills financing federal agencies is finished. Disagreements have slowed work on a tax overhaul. No one knows what bargains will be needed to assure autumn passage of a bill extending government borrowing authority and avoiding a crushing federal default. House Speaker Paul Ryan, Republican Wisconsin, told reporters Friday that he'd, quote, prefer, unquote, to pass the budget in July, suggesting it might linger until fall, adding to Congress's late year mountain of work. Whoa. Some conservatives in Congress, meanwhile, want to include measures to cut spending as part of an extension of government borrowing authority. But Treasury Secretary Stephen McMullen reiterates Sunday on ABC's, quote, This Week, and quote, that the administration proposed a straightforward extension without including contentious agreements on spending cuts. Tax reform. Munich also knocked down a report last week that Trump administration advisor Steve Bannon has floated a tax return on the wealthiest households as a way to pay for tax cuts for middle-income Americans. Whoa. That is wild, okay? I mean, you would think if the middle class was going to get, big tax cuts, they wouldn't be floating a tax. Oh, it's a tax increase on the wealthiest. Okay, that's good. Good job, Steve Bannon. I've never heard Steve mention that. Much can said on this week. He added that the increase is not part of the administration's tax plan. Bannon's proposal to raise the tax rate for Americans earning nearly $420,000 to 40% or higher was reported July 2nd by the website Axios. The administration is aiming to release its full tax plan for September, Munich said, and hopes to pass it into law by the end of the year. So far, the administration had issued a one-page summary of broad principles for tax reform, but few details. The GOP congressional leadership and the Trump administration have struggled with the issue of how to offset the cost of tax cuts. Munchkin, whatever his name is, said the administration's plan would pay for itself if about $2 trillion in increased revenue resulting from faster economic growth is included, yet congressional budget scorekeepers may not agree that tax cuts would produce such growth. Under congressional budget rules, tax cuts can be passed by the Senate with a simple majority, but only if they don't increase the deficit after 10 years. That would allow Republicans who have 52 Senate seats to pass the bill without any Democratic vote. I guess it would, wouldn't it, buddy? But billions more for military. Defense hawk scoffed at Trump's proposed 2018 military budget as sufficient. They're adding billions more. The House is slated to vote this week on a sweeping policy bill that takes issue with Trump's proposed trim to missile defense spending as North Korea pushes its development of weapons capable of striking the United States. The defense bill would provide $996 billion for the Pentagon and has $28.5 billion more for the core Pentagon operators that Trump requested, including an additional $2.5 billion for programs aimed at shielding the homeland from missiles. There's extra money for new jet fighters, ships, and additional active duty troops. Less certain is how quickly Republicans move on legislation passed by the Senate that would hit Russia with Iran and new sanctions. Democrats are pressing for the fast action, but the measure was not on the House schedule for the week. The legislation easily cleared the Senate in June. FBI nominee Christopher Wray gets his turn in the spotlight as a Senate panel holds a confirmation hearing on Trump's choice to replace ousted FBI Director James Comey. Wray, a white-collar defense lawyer with a strong law enforcement background, was a high-ranking official in George W. Bush's Justice Department. He later represented New Jersey Governor Chris Christie in the Bridgegate scandal. Trump fired Comey in May as the FBI investigation into Russian meddling in the presidential election pressed on. Members of the Judiciary Committee are certain to press Wray on how independent he would be from Trump. New energy. 2 women, 1 Republican, 1 Democrat, have worked closely on energy issues. Now Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski and Washington Senator Maria Cantwell have a bill to speed federal approval of projects to export liquefied natural gas and boost other energy sources and efficiency measures. The legislation also sets up a land and water conservation fund. The proposal resembles one the pair pushed through the Senate last year. Murkowski chairs the Senate Energy and Natural Resources. I missed my place of that. I don't know. The proposal resembles one pushed through the Senate last year. Murkowski chairs the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee, while Cantwell is the committee's top Democrat. The bill failed last year over a dispute with the House, which adopted its own measure focused on oil drilling and rolling back federal protections for the gray wolf and other threatened wildlife. Murkowski would like the House vote for the bill before August. Associated Press writers Matthew Daly, Richard Lardner, Christopher Rugelber, and Donna Cassetta contributed to this report. But I just want to tell y'all about the health care. I ain't know a lot about it. That just confirms a lot of what I heard. Let's get into Hannity right quick.
Donald Trump Jr. We will ask him every single question I can think of on this topic. Don Jr., good to see you. Welcome back.
Here.
Appreciate it.
I didn't know there was any time left.
I've been told that before, but they're highly rated opening monologues.
I like it.
And I figured while I have a captive audience, I wanted to get my points out to them. Let's start with the emails.
Yeah.
Let's start with the first email. First of all, let's talk about who is Rob Goldstone.
Rob Goldstone is a talent manager for Amin Argalov, who's a Azerbaijani Russian singer, performed at Miss Universe and later performed at the WGC Championship golf course tournament that we held at Doral.
All right, so do you know...
I met him through the golf course. I wasn't even at the Miss Universe pageant, but I met him throughout there, so I had a casual relationship
with him. Okay, so he sends you this email. We'll put it back up on the screen and give you a chance to look at this. This is the one that says the Crown Prosecutor of Russia met with his father, meaning Emin's father, and in their meeting offered to provide the Trump campaign with documents, information that could incriminate Hillary Clinton, etc. Obviously highly sensitive information, but as part of Russia and its government's support of Mr. Trump. And then they asked the best way to handle this. This email comes in. What are you thinking?
Honestly, my takeaway when all of this was going on is that someone has information on our opponent. You know, things are going a million miles an hour. You know what it's like to be on a campaign. We just won Indiana, but we're talking about a contested convention. Things are going a million miles an hour again. And, hey, wait a minute. I've heard about all these things, but maybe this is something. I should hear them out.
Okay. When you read the parts about the Russian government or Russia supporting your father, did that put off any sirens in your head?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I think this was, again, just basic information that was going to be possibly there. I didn't know these guys well enough to understand that if this talent manager from Miss Universe, you know, had this kind of thing. So I wanted to hear them out and play it out and see what happens. But, you know, people are trying to reach out to you all the time with this.
All right, so you spent a lot of time talking about it, and you actually said at one point that, hey, if it turns out to say what you say it is, of course, what did you think it might be?
Listen, I've been reading about scandals that people were probably underreporting for a long time, so maybe it was something that had to do with one of those things. I mean, this was her, perhaps, involvement with the Russian government. So, you know, again, I didn't know there was any credibility. I didn't know there was anything behind it. I can't vouch for the information. Now, someone sent me an email. I can't help what someone sends me. You know, I read it, I responded accordingly, and if there was something interesting there, I think it's pretty common.
What about the timeline of this? This is pre, for example, WikiLeaks and the DNC
honestly,
emails.
This is pre, Russia fever. This is pre-Russia mania. You know, this was 13 months ago, before I think the rest of the world was talking about that, trying to build up this narrative about Russia. So I don't even think my sirens, you know, went up, or the antennas went up at this time because of it, because it wasn't the issue that it's been made out to be over the last, you know, 9 months, 10 months, since it really became a thing. So I think there is an element of context to that. At the time, it wasn't this big news story.
Right. What did you know about Emin's father? What did you know about them from Moscow? Was it just the pageant you met them at?
They had the pageant, and they're successful real estate developers over there. So, you know, that's the extent of, you know, my knowledge with them. I'd met Emin once or twice, and, you know, maintained a casual relationship there, talked about some potential deals, and then to the extent of it, they really didn't go anywhere.
What do you know about this Russian lawyer? What did you at the time, if anything, know?
I actually didn't know anything about it. Again, an acquaintance, you know, sent me this email. As a courtesy to him, I said, okay, let's meet. but I didn't know who I was meeting beforehand, never heard of the person, never got the information until they were in the room.
At any point were you told, either in a phone conversation or otherwise, what they might tell you, what Goldstone seemed to be implying you would receive?
No, as I recall, it was all basically this email coordination. Let's try to set up a meeting and see what happens, and that it was going to be interesting information. And, in the end, it wasn't about that at all.
Let's go into the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you meet at Trump Tower.
Yes.
Okay, the meeting was described earlier today on the Today Show.
Mm-hmm.
Did she describe it accurately?
I think fairly accurately. I mean, I was a little taken aback by her saying, talking about me pressing for the information. But as you can see from the emails, the pretext of the meeting was, hey, we have information. And there was, some small size, I don't even remember what it was. It just was sort of nonsensical, inane and garbled, and then quickly went on to, a story about Russian adoption and how we could possibly help. And really, that's where we shut it down, which is, wait a second, what does this have to do with...
Did you even know what the McGinty Act was?
I'd never even heard of it before, that day. I think it became pretty apparent to, Jared and Paul, who I think Jared left after a few minutes. Paul got in his phone.
She said that, yeah.
Yeah, this is a perfect count. I do remember that. Yeah, we were all there. I was basically sitting there listening as a courtesy to my acquaintance who had set up the meeting. And, in his own words, you can hear what he said, and you played it earlier, about it. I mean, he apologized to me walking out of the meeting, basically for wasting my time.
Well, and he did say at the end of your statement today, you did point out, as Goldstone said today, the entire meeting was the most inane nonsense I've ever heard, and I'm actually, agitated by it.
Yeah, listen.
And he called and apologized to you?
There wasn't really follow-up, because there was nothing there to follow up. But as we were walking out, he said, listen, I'm sorry for that. But I think what happened... He sort of goosed up. He built up. There was some puffery to the email, perhaps to get the meeting, to make it happen. And, in the end, there was probably some bait and switch about what it was really supposed to be about. And so, there is nothing there.
So she is saying that she had no information to provide. Do you remember what she's suggesting, that you were pressing her a little bit for information?
I imagine I did. I mean, I was probably pressing because the pretext of the meeting was, hey, I have information about your opponent. It was this, hey, some DNC donors may have done something in Russia and they didn't pay taxes. I was like, what does this have to do with anything? Especially in light of everything that was out there. I was like, this isn't...
Did you ever have any contact with this woman again?
No.
Did you ever have any contact with Goldstone again?
Casual, hey, how's it going? Emin's going to be in town performing, something like that. But
did you ever see Emin again? Except that,
I don't believe so, no.
I don't
think I've seen Emin since this transpired.
Okay, so this is a hypothetical. In any point in your mind, did Don Jr. have a siren saying, okay, they're talking, again, I go back to the first email, about Russia, Russian government, I'm meeting with this person, you were going to talk on the phone. Did you ever think, oh, maybe this might not be...
Listen, I think, like I said, in retrospect, I probably would have done things a little differently. Again, this is before the Russia mania. This is before they were building it up in the press. For me, this was opposition research. They had something, maybe concrete evidence to all the stories I'd been hearing about, but they were probably underreported for, years, not just during the campaign. So I think I wanted to hear it out. But really, it went nowhere, and it was apparent that that wasn't what the meeting was actually about.
Okay, let me ask a hypothetical. And I know hypotheticals, maybe you've thought about it since this has now become Russia collusion, and et cetera. Did you ever meet with any other person from Russia that you know?
I don't even know. I've probably met with other people from Russia. I mean, certainly not in the context of a formalized meeting or anything like that. Because why would I? In the grand scheme of things, how busy we were, it was much more important to doing this. This was a courtesy to an acquaintance.
Let me play a montage, and these are Democrats attacking you today, and give you a chance to respond to what they're saying and what the left is saying. I mean, they have taken it to the ultimate extreme. And then I'll ask you about some perspective about some of my comments at the beginning of the show. Here's what they're saying.
We now know that through intermediaries, the Russian government sought to approach the Trump campaign to see whether they would be interested in damaging information about Hillary Clinton. We now know that the response that the president's son gave to the Russians was that he would love it if they would provide damaging information about Hillary Clinton. Rather than report this overture by the Russian government to provide damaging information to intervene in the presidential election in a way to help his father, neither the president's son nor the campaign reported this information to the FBI.
We get this email exchange today showing clear collaboration between the Russian government and Russian government agents and the Trump campaign at the highest levels, where the email is very clear that the Russian government is weighing in to help elect Donald Trump.
We need Donald Trump Jr. and other campaign associates to turn over any and all documents and electronic communications that investigators asked for. And we need public testimony under oath of Donald Trump Jr., who has changed his story repeatedly.
We're now beyond the obstruction of justice in terms of what's being investigated. This is moving into perjury, false statements, and even into potentially treason.
There's that fucking queer.
Schumer's asking, did you
Not that there's anything wrong with that, folks. It's just...
I would.
Let me clarify
In light
right
of
there.
this
Hold
coverage,
on. Hold on.
in light of
This is moving.
Can't you see some lipstick on them lips right there, and a little bit of blush, and maybe even a little brown wig? I'm not even for sure that he's a man, folks, because he referred, while running for vice president as Hillary's running mate, he didn't refer to himself as her right-hand man, the next at the wheel, no, nothing like that. He referred to himself as her right-hand person. So, I know they're all big on that political correctness stuff and all, but yeah, him and his wife have got this weird relationship going on too, where he sleeps around. This is a known homosexual, by the way, who has a wife and daughter and this and that and other, and is what is a Democratic governor of Virginia? Is it maybe? But that's not how we need running our country, folks. That is scum. Did you hear him talking to his, how old was she, 12? He talked to his 12-year-old daughter on the phone worser than you should talk to a dog, okay? He cussed her. He cussed that youngin' for everything that he was worth. Do you think he's going to be gentle with your kids if he ever had to rule on them, and him a pure SOB to his own? No. Let's listen to this bull.
Moving into perjury, false statements, and even into potentially treason.
Schumer's asking, did you hand over any and all documents?
Well, I will. I've said it publicly. I said it yesterday. More than happy to cooperate with everyone. I just want the truth to get out there. I mean, that's part of why I released all the stuff today. I wanted to get it all out there. They're trying to drag out the story, in all fairness. You know, they have it. They want to drip a little bit today, drip a little bit then. So I was like, here it is. I'm more than happy to be transparent about it, and I'm more than happy to cooperate with everyone.
So as far as you know, as far as this incident's concerned, this is all of it?
This is everything. This is everything.
Was anybody else at any point in the campaign said, oh, I got information about Hillary that you remember?
No.
Let me go back to what Tim Kaine said. Well, if it is what you said you're in, especially, you know, you'd want it released later in the summer. I think that's unusual for a campaign to want op research, and I'll get to the Ukrainian issue, which I think has been underreported, especially in light of this coverage. But
like I said, I think we had more important things to worry about. I wasn't sure of the credibility of any of this stuff. At the time, I'm sitting there, Indiana had just probably happened. You know, I'm worried about hearing a contested convention. So, you know, we're going to fight. This is the first time we've ever done any of this. This was, you know, I'm still way in the learning curve on all of this. So it wasn't that urgent to me if I'm saying, hey, it can wait till the end of summer. But, yeah, obviously I want to hear the information. I mean, that's what we do in business. If there's information out there, you want it, and then you make what you do with it. If there was something that came from it that was shady, if it was a danger to national security, I would obviously bring it right to someone. But I didn't know what anything was. It turns out it was nothing. And therefore, there's nothing to be able to actually talk about.
The whole contact took how long? How long was the meeting?
20 minutes or so.
About 20 minutes. And Jared left after 5 or 10?
Yes.
Like she said, and Paul Manafort was on his phone? The whole time?
Pretty much. Listen, like I said, it became pretty apparent that this was not what we were in there talking about.
A lot of people are going to want to know this about your father. Mm-hmm. Do you tell your father anything about this?
No. It was such a nothing. There was nothing to tell. I mean, I wouldn't have even remembered it until you start scouring through the stuff. It was literally just a wasted 20 minutes, which was a shame.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got to take a break. We'll come back.
I'll tell you guys something. This is what they've been waiting on. This is what they've been building up for this whole time. Folks, I don't remember. I meant to read it to y'all. I don't remember if I did or not, but I got an email from Mr. McConnell right there. Telling me that I was just not well informed that the Russians hacked the election and they colluded with the Trump campaign and it's a national security risk and all this. This has been a plan of theirs the whole time. Probably set them up. Man, because they can't be president. They can't be chief. Man, we got too many chiefs and not enough damn Indians, if you ask me. You got one chief in there that's a fighting for us all. That's giving us all he's got. Not to mention the first family too right there, you know. Trump. There's never been a president like Trump. Not since JFK. Ronald Reagan. He wasn't no Trump, really. I don't think. I mean, there's some traits there conservatively, but I guess. But Ronald Reagan is not Donald Trump. I'm sorry. Y'all can say what you want to, whatever. I just think my opinion on it. Let's see if we got any more videos right there. This one's out. Let's see what old Flitterface had to say about it. I'm sure she had a delightful opinion. Rochelle Madcow, the Wicked Witch from the West. The chick with a dick.
So this is either either the end of things, or things are about to get very, very weird.
Yeah.
It's possible that things get weird and then they end, but one of those two things is definitely going to happen now. In a movie, in a well-written book about a political scandal, what just happened today, what was just published today, would be the end of the plot, right? There's been a confession. The worst-case scenario that anybody imagined at the start of the scandal has just been not just documented by investigative reporting, it is not contested to. It is not contested. It has been admitted to by the people who are involved and who are implicated. This is where plots end, right? Somewhere in a parallel universe, somebody's beach read novel about the biggest American political scandal since Watergate, and maybe the biggest political American scandal ever, somebody in a parallel universe reading this book has just finished their book. It's come to a tidy end. Now they're thinking maybe they'll switch to sci-fi for something more realistic the next time. But this is not a novel, this is not a movie, this is our real life, and now we have to figure out what is going to happen next, what ought to happen next, what is likely to happen next, now that the Trump campaign has admitted that they worked with the Russians. The Russian government did meddle in our election last year to try to hurt Hillary Clinton's chances, to try to help Donald Trump's chances. The Trump campaign, after all those months of denials, all those vehement denials up to and including the president himself, the Trump campaign now admits that it knew that Russia was meddling in our election to hurt Hillary Clinton and help Donald Trump. They now admit that they were informed early on, even before the first news reports to that effect, and learning that that was happening, the Trump campaign's response at the highest level was that they tried to help the Russians
They tried to
in
help the
achieving
Russians.
their goals.
Achieving their goals.
Now that has been conceded, what happens next?
What
I mean,
happens next?
as of this time last night, the New York Times was reporting that its reporters had seen documentation that indicated that the Trump campaign knowingly took a meeting with a representative of the Russian government during the campaign in an effort to try to get damaging information on Hillary Clinton from the Russians. Since then, the Times itself and a senior Trump campaign advisor, namely the president's eldest son, they have published that documentation. The meeting in question happened last June. It previously had been a secret meeting. That secret meeting has now been made public, along with the circumstances of how it was arranged via an email chain that explicitly spells it out more emphatically than anybody would have ever imagined at the start of this scandal.
Yeah.
It spells it out more simply and more explicitly than any fiction writer would have ever tried to get away with.
Hey, well, they couldn't a fiction writer come up with something like this right there, boys, and if he had 50 years to sit down and think about it, okay? They ain't no way. Why? Hey, they have you ever heard the video? Them people right there won't lie, boys. They won't lie. Let's see how many more lies they're gonna tell before this video's over.
The quotes from the emails are astounding.
Astounding.
The Crown Prosecutor of Russia is offering to provide the Trump campaign with some official documents and information to incriminate Hillary Clinton. Very high level and sensitive information. It's part of Russia and its government's support for Mr. Trump.
Hey, let me ask y'all something. There ain't nothing that Hillary Clinton's ever done that she's got away with, I don't think. You know what I'm saying? Because she's been involved in so much and got caught at so much. How in the hell could she get away with anything? It ain't like that it was a big secret or anything. Well, everybody knows about it, but they ain't nobody wants to prosecute her. They don't want to put her in jail. I mean, what did it hurt to meet with them if they did? It might have been something they knew. You know, they didn't know, but according to what Donald Jr. said, turns out it turned out to be nothing, and they went to the house, whatever. They stayed there 10 minutes for Kushner and 20 for him, and they was gone, and Manafort was on his phone the whole time, he said. Man, and then Lion Mad Cow comes on propaganda, MSNBC, government funded own network of lies and tells you 50 million. She tells you so many lies that you can't keep up with. That way, because you going to at least believe one or two of them before it's over with. That's why they tell you so many damn lies. Even if you don't believe, most of them, you might believe one or two, if they just keep lying. Hitler said if you tell them, what was it? If you take a big lie and tell it to them enough, eventually they'll believe it. I believe is what it was, something like that, but...
They get that in writing. The immediate response from the Trump campaign 17 minutes later is, can we do a call? And it turns out they can do better than a call. And within a week, a Kremlin-connected Russian lawyer who was described at the campaign as a Russian government lawyer, and also apparently her translator, they are ushered into a top-level meeting with the Trump campaign at Trump Tower, attended by Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, president's son-in-law, and Paul Manafort, the campaign chair. Credit to the New York Times for forcing this information out into the open, right? This is obviously the end product of a long,
Bravo!
In terms of investigative reporting.
Bravo! NYT.
At the same time, though, you didn't really expect it to arrive on a silver platter like this, did you?
No. Ain't no way.
They're not even 6 months into this administration, and they're confessing to colluding with the Russians during the campaign.
Yep. Well, it don't matter,
Now that has happened.
It don't matter.
It seems like there are two possible paths that this goes from here. I mean, again, I don't want to lose track of the big picture. In any normal political circumstances, we would be at the end already. This would be the end of the road with the clear admission of guilt. The worst case scenario, yeah, we did it. But it turns out, in real life, life goes on. So this is like we're standing at the edge of the pavement. The road has, in fact, ended. But now we've got to find, like, little deer tracks through the woods.
How the hell did this bitch right there get a job on TV at a real network? Shit. Anybody, man, I wasn't even alive when the Watergate scandal went on. I remember when Bill Clinton got a blowjob from Monica Lewinsky and they tried to impeach him. And I remember that went on over a year. But if it was anybody else, we'd have been at the end already. While we'd been looking for little deer tracks through the... And people actually watch this stuff. Really? Really?
To figure out where we're going to go from here now that we got to go off-road. And I think there are two possible paths in the immediate future in terms of where we go off-road.
I think they are.
Now that we've had
Off-road.
a confession, what's next? I think there are two, kind of hard to see, but I think the White House probably sees it as a clear choice, and I think we should watch for both of these starting to become evident. The first one to watch for is that the Trump campaign, Trump White House, maybe even the president himself, may try to turn this into a big counterattack that not just distracts from what they have just confessed to, but tries to make it into a competing scandal that hurts their enemies instead of hurting themselves. You're seeing the seeds of some of this already in the conservative media reporting on today's events. This meeting between the Russian lawyer and the Trump campaign was purportedly set up to discuss negative information about Hillary Clinton that's somehow related to Russia. You can already see the conservative media and some Republican members of Congress trying to turn the narrative to instead be about Hillary Clinton.
It's all about her.
Her campaign. Or to otherwise turn the story inside out. Tomorrow there's going to be a confirmation hearing in the Senate for the Trump administration's new nominee to head the FBI. The man they want to replace James Comey, who the president fired, he says, because of the Russia investigation. Imagine the internal dynamic that has to exist inside somebody nominated for that job, right? On the one hand, I have been asked to become head of the FBI. On the other hand, I've been asked to become head of the FBI because the president just fired the last head of the FBI because of the Russia investigation. What's it like to go through that decision-making process to decide, yes, you're going to accept the honor of that nomination? So we will learn a lot more about Christopher Wray, the new FBI nominee, tomorrow. But at that confirmation hearing tomorrow, and also at the upcoming Senate hearings on the Russia investigation that we are expecting in the next couple of weeks, watch for Republican senators to try to mount a counterattack on the main narrative of this scandal. The Russian woman who came to Trump Tower and took this meeting with Don Jr. and Paul Manafort and Jared Kushner, at the time of her visit to the United States for that meeting, she was working on a legal case. A legal case that was being handled in the Southern District of New York. It's related to Russian money laundering on a massive scale. That case links back to a scandal in Russia, to a U.S.-born businessman who had a major investment firm in Russia before the Putin government decided to turn on him and basically eat his business. Ultimately, U.S. sanctions on Russia resulted from that whole mishigas. Republicans and the Trump White House and parts of the conservative media are starting to signal that they are going to try to make that case, that Russian scandal, that money laundering case, the case that this Russian lawyer was involved in when she came to New York for that meeting, they appear to be gearing up to make that case itself seem like that's the real Russia scandal here. It does not make sense yet. I will not try to make it make sense here on TV. But if you're watching for it, you can see it. They have started to lob nebulous allegations about whether there's some connection between that...
She's the one lobbing all these allegations, folks. But saying that they already admitted to it. Well, they're not done their guilt. They ain't no use in even having a trial then, are they? They might as well just pack up and go back to New York then, hadn't they, mad cow? Jesus Christ.
election case and the dossier of unverified and salacious raw intelligence reports about Donald Trump that caused such a stir when it was first published by BuzzFeed this past January. Republicans and the conservative media have started to raise questions about whether there is something untoward or scandalous about how that Russian woman who came to Trump Tower and took that meeting got permission to enter the United States last summer to take part in that legal case about the money laundering. On that same visit where she also took that meeting in Trump Tower. And I know that it just sounds like that was a list of dots without connections between them. That's how I mean to put it out there. There is no meaningful counter-narrative against what has just been confessed by the Trump campaign. But if you look at those data points, if you look at those other issues in the news, it appears that something is going on among Republican members of Congress and in the Trump White House and in the conservative media that they are about to try to land as a counterpunch. As they try to morph the Russia scandal involving the Trump campaign into something that instead is about Hillary Clinton and the DNC and presumably the Obama administration, and we think the FBI as well. When they try to make that dossier into the basis of the whole case against Donald Trump, and they try to link the whole FBI investigation to that dossier, where they are going with that is to try to undermine, to try to cast aspersions on the FBI investigation of the Trump-Russia affair, which continues to this day, by casting aspersions on its origins. Chuck Grassley, who is the senator who's the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, has been sort of the leader among Republican members of Congress on that subject, and he is the one who's signaling most strongly that he would like this to be the counter-narrative in this story. So, watch for that. Watch for that in particular tomorrow at the Christopher Wray confirmation hearing, which will be chaired by Chuck Grassley. The Christopher Wray confirmation hearing is not supposed to be about the Russia scandal, but it will now have to be substantially about the Russia scandal because of the magnitude of that scandal now and because of the circumstances under which the FBI job became vacant, so Christopher Wray had something to be nominated to. So that is one possible path that we are about to go down. Watch for the Republicans, the conservative media, and the Trump White House to create a new scandal, to create something that sounds like this scandal, that has some of the same things involved, that certainly has Russia involved in it, but that's about Democrats and that's about the FBI instead of being about them. We've seen them laying the groundwork for it. I think we are likely about to see that break wide open. Path one.
Path one.
The other deer path through the woods, the other off-road possibility that we're about to go down,
she's full of shit, everything on her is brown.
Self-defense of a different kind, I think, from the Trump White House. As you know, there have been two big stories, two bombshell stories in the past couple of weeks about the appearance of American collusion in the Russian attack on our election last year. Wall Street Journal was first with their report on the admitted effort by a Republican political operative, who's now deceased, to make contact with Russian government hackers to try to obtain Hillary Clinton's emails from them so they could be used against her and for Trump's benefit in the campaign. Now, in that case, that project to try to work with the Russians against Clinton, that was a Trump supporter who mounted that effort. The link to the Trump campaign was that he claimed a relationship with Mike Flynn, the Trump National Security Advisor, and at that point, a senior advisor to the Trump campaign. Mike Flynn never commented for that Wall Street Journal story. He's never commented on those allegations, but the White House commented. They fairly readily threw him under the bus on that one. The White House comment to the Wall Street Journal about that story was that if Mike Flynn coordinated with that in any way, it would have been in his capacity as a private individual. Mike Flynn was a senior advisor to the Trump campaign at the time that project was underway, and that project was only about the campaign. So that defense from the White House beggars belief, but it at least kind of shows what they think their options are. It at least shows in that case they were willing to let Flynn take the blame for that rather than trying to defend the conduct. Now, in this second collusion story, theoretically they have the same choice, right? You could defend the conduct itself, or if you can't defend the conduct, you kind of have to hive off the people who appear to be guilty of it. Hive off from the president, hive off from the White House, the people who appear to have done it. It's very hard to do that with the people who were involved in this news story. in that meeting in Trump Tower last June, and apparently in receipt of the email that described this as a meeting with a Russian government emissary who was coming to the Trump campaign with information from the Russian government to try to help the Trump campaign in its efforts against Hillary Clinton. In that meeting were Paul Manafort, who was then campaign chair, Jared Kushner, the son-in-law, and Don Trump, the eldest son. There's no way to use the exact same strategy that they did with Mike Flynn on the previous collusion story, right? There's no way to say, in this case, that Paul Manafort and Jared Kushner and Donald Jr. were acting in their personal capacity when they took this meeting. We now know from what they admit about this meeting, what they have published about the origins of this meeting, and we know from the fact that all of them were in the meeting together, we know that this was clearly a campaign meeting. And so none of them personally can be on the hook without the campaign being on the hook. That said, in terms of their self-defense here, at least Paul Manafort and Donald Trump Jr., at least they don't have offices in the White House now. At least they are not current members of the administration. Jared Kushner is, though. And that means the potential legal jeopardy that may arise from this meeting, it not only enters the president's family. A lot of people have been talking about that today in terms of what we might anticipate about the president's psychology, about defending his eldest son if he's got real legal jeopardy here. The legal jeopardy here not only enters the president's immediate family, it also enters the White House. Because Jared Kushner is still a senior White House advisor, even if the White House would not answer questions today about whether or not he still has his security clearance. But the Jared Kushner factor here lends some urgency, not only to what we expect to be a defense by the White House to these absolutely catastrophic revelations today. It also, for us as a country, lends some urgency to the legal side of this, to the question of whether and how this is prosecuted. I will explain what I mean by that in just a second, but Congressman Adam Schiff of California, the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, he also spoke to this today in a way that I think was very clear and very chilling. Watch.
Very chilling.
The most serious risk to the country, I think, is that the Russians possess compromising information, what they call compromat, that can influence this president's conduct of American policy. The Russians know about this meeting. They were behind organizing the meeting. If there are other meetings that the Russians know about, if there are other interactions with the Trump campaign that the Russians are aware of, that is something they can hold over the head of the President of the United States. And the American people need to know that our president is acting on their behalf and not acting because he has a fear that the Russians could disclose things that would harm him or his family.
The issue is coercion. The issue is potential coercion exercised by a foreign power over people who are in very powerful jobs in the U.S. government right now. Everybody's expecting the Robert Mueller probe, the special counsel probe, to move very slowly, to unfold over a period of months and maybe even years. And, you know, politically, just in terms of our civic health as a nation, there's reason not only to expect that it will move slowly, but to hope that it would move slowly, right? To hope just for our ability to be resilient as a country in the face of a scandal like this. There's reason to hope that that probe goes slow, that it is deliberate, that it is clear to everybody, whether or not you start off as a Trump supporter or a Trump opponent.
She was just right there begging for it to go fast. If it was any other person, it would have already been finished at this stage, she said at the end. She is so dumb, and she thinks her damn listeners are dumber than she is. Making them faces. Stupid bitch.
There's reason to hope that that probe goes slowly so that everybody agrees that no stone has been left unturned, that there is no question that there was a diligent, thorough degree of due process, that all the evidence was examined and explained, every possible innocent explanation was explored, every little bit of exculpatory evidence was fully honored, right? If we're going to get to somewhere through that investigation that feels like a resolution, everybody has to be on board that investigation was not rushed, that those investigators were not pushed along by political winds, right? That they did it and covered all of their bases. You want everybody in the country to believe that by the time that investigation is done. But there is also now direct evidence, uncontested evidence of people in the Trump campaign at the highest levels conspiring with a foreign adversary to influence our election. Now, whether or not the list of people in the Trump campaign who did that extends to and includes the president himself, it would appear to include at least one person who is working now at the highest levels of the White House as a senior advisor with responsibility for a lot of the most sensitive aspects of, say, American foreign policy. We learned about this meeting with a Russian emissary between Donald Trump Jr., Paul Manafort, and Jared Kushner, who now still works at the White House. We learned about it from the New York Times. But the Russians, before the New York Times ever knew about it, the Russians knew about that meeting too. Have they used that to blackmail anybody before it became public today? Is there anything else that they know about in terms of the behavior of the Trump campaign, the behavior of Jared Kushner, that they are using or that they could use to blackmail, to exert coercion in order to get the United States to do stuff that is not in America's interest, but is in Russia's interest, because Russia knows what they did and they don't want it known. That issue of potential coercion, of Russia holding this stuff, lends urgency not just to the investigative reporting aspect of this, but also to the question of whether or not the prosecution here moves fast or slow. We'll be right back.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.
God, man, I hate MSNBC. Oh my God, man, I would have hurt her. I do. Let's see what else we can find. I tell you what they need to do. They need to deport all these traitorous people. She's one. Adam Schiff's one. What they are, they're deep state folks. And they want Trump out. They know that Trump's got the people's best interest at heart. They don't. Trying to find some of those news stories on Facebook. Yeah, it makes me sick. Sitting there, you a big, bald-faced liar. Yeah. I expect you to believe it. Not just one lie, 50 million fucking effing lies. Hey. Here's a good one for you. Facebook is building a new campus that includes 1,500 apartments and a grocery store. The new project near Facebook's existing campus would partially be completed by 2021. There's a picture of it if anybody can see it. I need to down the TV. Facebook is expanding again. It's just been over 2 years since Facebook moved into its 430,000 square foot Frank Gehry designed headquarters in Menlo Park, California. Now the company is ready to expand again, and this time it wants to build a lot more than just office space for its workers. Facebook on Friday unveiled plans to build what it will call its, quote, Willow Campus, a mixed-use village. That sounds like a combination of a strip mall condo complex and an office park. Wrong. It's a commune, okay? The little community is what gives it away. The little store, the everything else. It's a commune. The new campus, which would be right behind Facebook's existing headquarters in Menlo Park on the site the company acquired in 2015, will include a grocery store, a pharmacy, and 1,500 housing units, more than 200 of which will be rented at, quote, below market rates. It's a commune. So you guys know how to read between the lines when it comes to these liberal fucking bastards. All this will be open to the public according to the company's blog post. There will be 125,000 square feet of retail space in total and 1.75 million square feet of office space. Though it is unclear if the office will be reserved exclusively for Facebook, a spokesperson said the company is, quote, not able to discuss other specifics right now, end quote. Facebook thinks the grocery, retail, housing, and office portions of the project will be completed by 2021. The campus will be in addition to the company's existing office space, not a replacement for it. Facebook also envisions that this campus will help with transit, which is poor in the Bay Area, both due to traffic and a lack of public transit options between San Francisco and cities along the peninsula, which tech giants like Facebook and Google have set up sprawling campuses. Now I want to ask you something. You tell me what you all think about this stuff. Does Facebook make a product? Does Facebook provide a service to the people and its members of which they pay for? Where does Facebook get all this money? You know what I'm saying? Everything on there is supposed to be free, unless you maybe advertise or something like that. God knows he don't make that much from advertising. Folks, Mark Zuckerberg is a CIA agent. Facebook is a CIA program. All it is a way of keeping tabs on you. All it is. And since Facebook keeps tabs on you, the former presidency of Barack Obama brought the biggest surveillance state in human history, let alone the United States. So, how much money do you think the U.S. government gave Facebook in grants? This sort of thing, you know? Keep in mind, social media was available back in the 70s, folks. Okay? Now, I started going to school in, 88, and all we had were, Apple computers back then. That was before the IBM computers ever came around. And then when they came around, it was all networking stuff, and I was just amazed by that stuff, because I couldn't get over all those computers were connected, and everybody had a username and a password, which I didn't even know what a username was back then, no way, but it's still totally amazing me back then, I can remember the first Windows computers that, were the ones that were available for sale at first. I'm gonna get older and dirt. I don't know. I don't know about it.
Welcome to the Daily Show. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm Trevor Noah. Our guest tonight here to talk about his new movie, The Big Sick. Kumail Nanjiani is here, everybody. Very excited, very funny guy. But first, we're back. We are back. So happy to be back. Thank you for coming back. We've been off for the past 2 weeks, and luckily, nothing happened. Have to talk about. For one, last week's vice presidential scandal that will plague the... So, we... Very excited, very funny guy. But first, we're back. We are back. So happy to be back. Thank you for coming back. We've been off for the past 2 weeks, and luckily, nothing happened. So, we didn't miss a thing at all. Nothing really happened in the news. Except for the big news. Yes, of course. Rob Kardashian's Instagram meltdown over his ex. And I bet when Trump saw that on Twitter, he was like, it's gotten worse, folks. Now there's a Black China. But, obviously, now that we're back, there are a couple of things that we have to talk about. For one, last week's vice presidential scandal that will plague this administration for a long time.
We've all been there. The sign says, do not touch, and yet, that's what happened to Vice President Mike Pence at NASA's Kennedy Space Center. The sign said, critical space flight hardware, do not touch.
Ooh, Mr. Vice President, you bad boy. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if this was Mike Pence trying to fit in with the rest of Trump's gang. They're probably teasing him every day in the White House like, well, if it ain't Jesus, boy. And he was like, oh, yeah? Boom. See, Donald, I can also touch things and get away with it. Oh, God, please forgive me. Please forgive me. It also, for some reason, looks like he's trying to convert that piece of space technology. I cast the devil out of this gay space flight hardware. Come to space, Jesus. I mean, there's a sign that clearly says, do not touch. And he still touches it. Mike Pence is like Janice from accounting. He just don't give a f***. He just don't give a f***. He just don't give a f***. You, Mike Pence. Sorry, John Oliver wasn't on last night. I'm going through withdrawal. So, let's move on. While the vice president was touching space equipment, President Donald Trump was off in Europe touching the world. And unlike previous presidents who first visited Britain or France, Donald Trump chose Poland. Now, some people say it's because Poland's populist media-hating politics these days are eerily similar to Trump's. I think he went there because they told him he wasn't doing well with the Poles. And he was like, well, you know what? Then I'll talk to them myself. And talk to them he did.
The fundamental question of our time is whether the West has the will to survive. Our own fight for the West does not begin on the battlefield. It begins with our minds, our wills, and our souls. Just as Poland could not be broken, I declare today for the world to hear that the West will never, ever be broken.
What I'm trying to say is, West Side. Yes. On his first stop in Europe, President Donald Trump flawlessly delivered Steve Bannon's ideas, basically urging the West to band together in defending itself against the invasion of, the values of, the people who don't, really need the sunscreen. You know who I'm talking about. And the crowd in Warsaw ate it up. Trump was having a great time. And as a nationalist leader, what do you do after you conquer Poland? You try your luck with Russia.
Trump and Putin, the two leaders, finally come face-to-face at the G20. The president confronting Putin on Russia's election hacking, but both sides putting their own spin on what happened in that marathon meeting.
Russia's foreign minister says President Trump accepted Putin's denial of the election interference.
President Trump tweeting, I strongly pressed President Putin twice about Russian meddling in our election. He vehemently denied it. I've already given my opinion.
Yes, President Trump handled the biggest threat to America's democracy the same way a lazy dad reluctantly disciplines his kid. Hey, man, were you smoking weed? No. Well, your mom says she smelled weed. No, that's what I said. You know how your mom is. Well, come on down. Dinner's ready. Let's go. Well, I guess that's Trump, right? He's not about the mistakes of the past. He's about the mistakes of the future.
The president insists he's acting to prevent future election hacks, tweeting that he discussed with Putin, quote, forming an impenetrable cybersecurity unit with the Russians.
You know what Donald Trump did here was basically like someone going, hey guys, this is Joey. Joey stole my wallet and phone last week, and so now we're teaming up to stop muggings in the neighborhood. Isn't that right, Joey? Whatever, man. Yay, team! Now, back in Washington, President Trump immediately took a lot of heat from both members of both parties for how easygoing he was with his BFF Putin, which is probably why Trump backed away from the cybersecurity proposal later that day. But you can understand why Trump was looking for a friend at the G20, because he sure didn't have any others there.
The G20 nations released a document laying out a collective action plan on climate change. In a not surprising move, the United States was the only nation to not sign on.
Unfortunately, and I deplore this, the United States of America left the climate agreement, but I am very gratified to note that the other 19 member states of G20 say that the Paris Agreement is irreversible.
Can I ask you something? Why do translators not talk the way the person does? Because I'm sorry, that throws me off. Like, Angela Merkel is unshakable, but this translator makes her sound unsure and blasé. It's like, the treaty is, it's irreversible, and it's, like, can you imagine if Hitler had that translator? He'd be screaming like, Ich bin keinen Schwadenwurst, it was fine, and she'd be like, today like Germany, and tomorrow, hopefully, the world purees. I don't know, we'll see. This is weird. I mean, Trump and Merkel have beef. Clearly, that's what that speech was about. Both of them know there's no love lost. And you could even see it when they shook hands. I mean, look at that picture. Yeah. They don't look like allies. It looks like they both had those prank handshake buzzers. And they got each other. But that is amazing, though, if we go back to that. The G20 voted 19-1 against the United States to keep fighting climate change. So I guess, in a way, Donald Trump got his answer. Because, remember at the top of the trip, Trump asked if the West has the will to survive. And they said, yes, we do. Which is why we're joining the rest of the world and standing up to you. Yeah. They basically said, we as the West, will survive. And don't get me wrong, at first, the other countries were afraid. They were petrified. They were thinking they could never live without the U.S. by their side. But then they spent so many nights just thinking about how Trump did them wrong. And they grew strong. And they learned how to get along. They will survive. We'll be right back. Hey, hey. Welcome back to the Daily Show. You know, ever since Donald Trump became president, there's been one question on everyone's mind. Why? What kind of God would do such a thing? No, the other question that has been on everyone's mind, and that is, did the Trump campaign collude with Russia? It's the subject of investigations by the House, the Senate, and the FBI. But according to Trump's people, not only was there no collusion, they barely even know what a Russian is.
Did any advisor or anybody in the Trump campaign have any contact with the Russians who were trying to meddle in the election?
Well, of course not. I did not have communications with the Russians. Are there any ties between Mr. Trump, you or your campaign, and Putin and his regime?
No, there are not. It's absurd, and there's no basis to it.
Every time Russia's brought up, they say, oh, Trump, what do I have to do with it?
Yeah! What do I have to do with it? Don't actually check. It's a rhetorical question. But, by now, we know that that's not true. One after another, we keep learning about more members of the Trump campaign who did meet with Russians during or after the campaign. But none of those meetings looked quite as bad as the one we found out about yesterday.
Donald Trump Jr. now admitting he met with a Russian attorney during the campaign, hoping to get damaging information on Hillary Clinton and the Democrats.
Trump Jr., his brother-in-law Jared Kushner, and campaign chairman Paul Manafort met at Trump Tower in June of last year with attorney Natalia Veselnitsia. She is said to have ties to Russia's government.
That's right. Don Jr., Jared Kushner, and Paul Manafort met with a Kremlin-linked Russian lawyer to get dirt on Hillary Clinton. You know what? At this point, it would be easier if the Trump people just told us which Russians they haven't met with. I don't even think Russian people hang out with this many Russians. Yeah, no, I have friends of all nationalities. Why always Russians? Come on, it's called diversity, bro. Come on. Ever hear of it? Yet, of course not. Now, if you're looking for evidence of collusion between Trump and Russia, this seems like the smoking gun. But Junior has a very different take.
I want to read you a statement from Donald Trump Jr., and I quote, "I was asked to have a meeting by an acquaintance who I was told might have information helpful to the campaign. It quickly became clear that she had no meaningful information, and she then changed subjects and began discussing the adoption of Russian children and mentioned the Magnitsky Act. It became clear to me that this was the true agenda all along, and that the claims of potentially helpful information were a pretext for the meeting."
Baby, you don't understand. I only met with that other woman because I thought she wanted to Turns out, she just wanted me to meet Jesus. So how you gonna go ahead and call me a cheater, girl? Come on. It is insane. That is bad crazy. Donald Jr.'s defense is that he tried to collude, but instead he got Russian catfished. I don't care if you believe that Russia colluded or not with the Trumps. You have to admit that the Trump team excuses make them sound dumber and dumber at every turn. Because first they said they never met with Russians. Then they said they forgot the meeting with the Russians. Then they said, oh, we didn't know those Russians counted. And now they're saying this.
Donald Trump Jr. claims he didn't know who he would be meeting at the June 9th sit-down at Trump Tower, but he asked the campaign's chairman and a top advisor to be there.
Get the out of here, man. Yeah, come on. Randy? So some random person shows up at Trump Tower. The front desk called up to Don Jr. and he was like, hello? Someone's here to see me? Oh boy, send them right up. No, I don't want to know their name. I love surprises. Jared Paul, you gotta come see this. No, I don't know who's in the meeting. Let's just do it and be legends. Look, man, this is honestly stupid. It is incompetent and it is dumb. And the saddest thing is, for the Trump team, the headlines today could be about America's role in helping finally drive ISIS out of Mosul, or it could be about the Syrian ceasefire. But once again, we're reminded that in a world filled with Trump enemies, the worst enemy is themselves. We'll be right back.
Yeah, say that stuff and look around, buddy. See everybody's reaction. Folks, I'm not turning my back on Trump just yet.
And now, The Late Show exclusive,
No
Stephen Colbert's interview with advisor to the president, Kellyanne Conway.
We're joined now by senior White House advisor Kellyanne Conway. Kellyanne, thank you for talking at me today.
Thank you, Chris.
Stephen, Kellyanne, tell me about these bombshell revelations that Donald Trump Jr. met with a Russian lawyer to gain damaging information on Hillary Clinton.
Don Jr. has very explicitly stated he didn't even know the name of the person with whom he was meeting.
Does he often meet with random strangers?
This was standard operating procedure for the campaign.
So let me get this straight. He accepts meetings with just mystery guests? It could be anyone. It could be Reince Priebus in a mask or a drifter with an axe. Why did he agree to this meeting?
He agreed to the meeting based on a contact from the Miss Universe pageant.
Why is a contact from Miss Universe setting up campaign meetings? Did Trump think there was a swimsuit component to the debates? Speaking of which, how do you think the president would look in a bathing suit?
Unusual.
Oh, yes. Isn't agreeing to meeting in hopes of obtaining damaging information against a political opponent from a foreign national, a Russian, the definition of collusion?
That the conversation's real, the collusion's not.
But the conversation was about collusion. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I understand. You're lying. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up because talking to you is like staring into the mouth of madness. Final question, Kellyanne. How do you think my viewers will sum up our interview tonight?
No information that was meaningful and helpful was gained from this.
I can't argue with that.
It's The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Tonight's welcome Woody Harrelson, Kobe Smolder, and musical guest Emmylou Harris.
She's a pollster, a senior consultant for Applied Technonomics.
Folks, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm killed. I don't know what happened to John. He was supposed to be on the show. He was at work, though. Yeah, he was at work, so he may have just got busy. I ain't gonna blame him about nothing like that, but yeah, I'm sorry for announcing his appearance on this show, and he didn't end up making it. But anyways, Folks, get you a good night's sleep, go to bed, rest, don't be like me, get up in the morning and hit it again, be careful. Watch that traffic. Don't kill no dead snakes and be careful. God bless you. Check out our websites, bigalmorgan.wixsite.com/AlexMorganShow. Email me, AlexMorganShow.com. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. All the info's in the description box. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Big Al out. Good night.
Play this old Merle Travis song.
Jimmy, my other brother Jack, went off down to Houston and never come back. Mama wasn't gonna let her baby go yet, but there ain't nobody hiring back in Lafayette. Working all week for a Texaco check, sun beating down on the back of my neck. I try to save my money, but Jimmy says no. Says he got a little honey out on Telephone Road. Come on, come on, come on, let's go. This ain't Louisiana, your mama won't know. Come on, come on, come on, let's go. Everybody's rocking on Telephone Road. Telephone Road's 10 miles long. Come on, come on, come on, let's go. 50 car lots and 100 honky tonks. Come on, come on, come on. Jukebox blasting and the beer bottles ring. Come on, come on, come on, let's go. Jimmy banging on the pinball machine. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, let's go. This ain't Louisiana, your mama won't know. Come on, come on, come on, let's go. Everybody's rocking out Telephone Road. Mama never told me about nothing like this. I guess Houston about as big as a city can get. Sometimes I get lonesome for Lafayette. Come on, come on, come on, let's go. Someday I'm going home, but I ain't ready yet. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, let's go.
Let's go. East Lake County, your mama won't.
Let's go. Everybody's rocking on Telephone Road. Come on, come on, come on, let's go. This ain't Louisiana, your mama won't.
Way across town, the phone rings off the wall.
If you know he ain't home, why do you keep calling? You're gonna drive yourself crazy, and you know that it's true. It's just making you wild and blue, wild and blue. And it's no wonder. Look at the things that you do. They could just take you up yonder, honey. You're already wild and blue. In somebody's room on the far side of town, with your minds all made up and the shades all pulled down. Someone is trying to satisfy you. He don't know you're wild and you're blue, wild and blue. And it's no wonder. Look at the things that you do. They could just take you up yonder, honey. You're already wild and blue. It's 4 in the morning and you're all alone with no place to go. Why don't you come home? I'll be right here, baby, waiting for you. I know you've been wild and blue, wild and blue. It's no wonder. Look at the things that you do. They could just take you up yonder, honey. You're already wild and blue, wild and blue. It's no wonder, baby. Look Christmas time in Washington, the Democrats rehearsed, getting into gear for 4 more years, but things not getting worse. Republicans drank whiskey neat and think they're lucky stars. They said it cannot seek another term. There'll be no more FDRs. And I sat home in Tennessee, just staring at the screen. An uneasy feeling in my chest, wondering what it means. So come back, Woody Guthrie. Come back to us now. I tell your eyes from paradise and rise again somehow. If you run into Jesus, maybe he can help you out. Come back, Woody Guthrie, to us now. Followed in your footsteps once back in my traveling days. Somewhere I failed to find your trail. Now I'm stumbling through the haze. But there's killers on the highway now, and the man can't get around. So I sold my soul for wheels that roll. Now I'm stuck here in this town. Come back, Woody Guthrie. Come back to us now. Tell your eyes from paradise and rise again somehow.
me, recording artist, Bob Dylan.
Every time I'm in me, we go uptown. Police coming, they knock me down. Okay, all around my brain. Hey baby, won't you come here quick? This little cocaine making me sick. Okay, all around my brain. Undercover baby, she's dressed in red. She's got a shotgun, says she's gonna kill me dead. Okay, all around my brain. Hey baby, won't you come here quick? This old cocaine making me sick. Okay, all around my brain.
I wrote this in North Carolina, where I was trapped inside a college guest room by this terrible lady named Miss Bullitt, who was the dorm mother. Well, the wicked king of clubs awoke. It was to his queen he turned, his lips were laughing as they spoke. His eyes like bullets burned, the sun's upon a gambling day. His queen smiled low and blissfully, let's make some wretched fool to pay. And plain it was, she did agree. He sent his deuce down into diamond, his four to heart and his trade a spade. 3 kings with their legions come, and preparations soon were made. They voted Club the day's commander, they give him an army, face and number, all but the outlaw jack of diamonds and the aces in the sky. Well, he give his sevens first instruction, spirit me a game of studs, stakes unscarred by limitation between a man named Gold and a man named Mud. Club filled Gold with greedy vapors till his long green eyes did glow. Mud was left with the sighs and trembles, watching his hard-earned money go. Flushes fell on Gold like water, tens that paired and paired again. But the aces only flew through heaven, and the diamond jack called no man friend. The diamond queen saw Mud's ordeal, began to think of her long-lost son, fell to her knees with a mother's mercy, prayed to the angels every one. The diamond queen, she prayed and prayed, and the diamond angel filled Mud's hole. And the wicked king of clubs himself fell face down in front of Gold. Now 3 kings come to Club's command, but the angels from the sky did ride. 3 kings up on the streets of Gold, 3 fireballs on a muddy side. The club queen heard her husband's call, but Lord, that queen of diamonds' joy, when the outlaw in the heavenly hall turned out to be her wandering boy. And Mud he checked and Gold bet all. Mud he raised and Gold did call, and the smile just melted off his face when Mud turned over that diamond ace. Here's what this story's told. You feel like Mud, you'll end up Gold. Feel like lost, you'll end up found. So amigo, lay them razors down.
Billy was 17, mean as hell. Bonnie said she was 30, it was hard to tell. Now Billy met Bonnie on a Saturday night at the dirt track races, it was love at first sight. Now Bonnie was wilder than the west wind blows, taught Billy every single thing he knows. But she never told Billy what she left out. Part trouble when the time runs out. When the thrill is gone, when your deal goes south, it's all over when the time runs out. Well, Bonnie said, Billy, don't you think it's time we moved on a little further down the line? So we knocked off a Texaco south of town, blew down the highway with the rack top down. Now Billy was funny about daylight. He said he'd drive honey out up all night. Now Billy wasn't sweating no APB, 'cause he didn't leave a single soul alive to say. He was just 16, made his mama proud. It don't mean nothing when your time runs out. Motion that Cadillac, Billy passed down with the scene reared back. Slipped through in and just passed off. Finally pulled over in a roadside park. Sleeping and she called the cop. He never knew nothing when the dime was dropped. Now Bonnie knew what she had to do. She called the sheriff and she tried on cue. And the faithful ladies ousted Billy out. About Bonnie when his time runs out. Well, the sheriff told Billy, boy, you're bound to die, 'cause this young lady's gonna testify that she couldn't shake her off against the will. And she told us the robbery and the boy. Now Billy, what you got to say? She'll carry you away. Now Bonnie right in the eye, but it has to ask the why. But it when they let him out, he said, I'll see you down in hell when your time runs out.
Sheriff coming to pull all that look on his face. Have you seen Jack Blue around this place? He's a bad one, him, always breaking the law. If you see Jack Blue, better give me a call. Jack's shooting pool on Friday night. Couple out-of-town boys looking for a fight. It was 2-on-1, but Jack even the score. Paramedics packed one of them out the door. Well, you don't go looking for trouble, ain't that what the old folks say? But don't go looking for trouble. It'll find you anyway. 57 stitches in that boy's hide. Doc shook his head, said, you're lucky you're alive. Don't go looking for Jack Blue. Here's some thread and a needle just in case you do. Yeah, you don't go looking for trouble, ain't that what the old folks say? Don't go looking for trouble. works in his yard and he drinks iced tea. He ain't had a fight since '93. Don't go to bar rooms or billiard hall. Tried to teach his boys to respect the law. Say you don't go looking for trouble. You're there with the old folks.
I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride, with sword and pistol by my side. Many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade. Many a soldier shed his lifeblood on my blade. The bastards hung me in the spring of 25, but I am still alive.
I was a sailor, I was born upon the tide. With the sea I did abide. I sailed a schooner around the Horn of Mexico. I went aloft to furl the mainsail in a blow. And when the yards broke off, they said that I got killed, but I'm living still. I was a dam builder across a river deep and wide, where steel and water did collide. A place called Boulder on the wild Colorado. I slipped and fell into the wet concrete below. They buried me in that great tomb that knows no sound. But I am still around. I'll always be around and around and around and around.
I fly a starship across the universe divide. And when I reach the other side, I'll find a place to rest my spirit if I can. Perhaps I may become a
highwayman again.
Or I may simply be a single drop of rain. But I will remain. I'll be back again and again and again and again and again and again.
all the birds have flown. Time's empty house, which no longer feels like home. No angel of mercy is gonna hear my call. something out of this world. Feels so good to know that she's all mine. Gonna love that woman till the end of time. Someone to live for. Love me till the end of time. Yeah. She made me feel happy. It's good to know that she's all mine. I am the world that hides the generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah.
Hey, can we just have one kind of hurry? Don't waste all the film there. Stop it for a second. Because I was scared as to death. So then, can I just do it one more time, though? Can I just do it one more time? To you. This is what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do. What I'm going to do.
Fire one up, toss one down. Everybody know you've been downtown. Been downtown late last night. Busted your head in a barroom fight. Fighting with your brother, fighting with your wife. Seen you been fighting every day of your life. Can't stand still, still can't run. You put it all together, but it come undone. Soul is junk, brain is dust. All your memories eaten up with rust. Nightmares, real dreams too stark. You love the night, but you hate the dark. Your mama, daddy, little sister too told you a secret that's counting on you. You was dying to tell, but your daddy said, son, button your lip, but it come undone. Undone. So So they turned you out when you turned them in, told you don't come back again. You stack up like old big cans, dead-end jobs, payment plan. Broke down trucks, welfare checks, child support, and backseat sex. You'd kill yourself, but you hocked your gun. Built the news, but it come undone. Undone. You live in a shack and you wanna be rich, and you would if it wasn't for the son of a bitch. Son of a bitch, a dirty old whore, the butcher, the baker, the grocery store. You hate them, they hate you. What in the world are you gonna do? Well, it ain't your fault, but they need someone blame it on when they come undone. Undone. The skies turn black, yeah. Well, the storm's coming in, the skies turn black. It's too late now, you can't turn back. Lightning strikes on the telephone wire. You drunk as a skunk, the shack's on fire. Wife took a baby and the other two kids. Dogs are howling and the chickens are dead. Hit you last night out, gonna have fun. Read it in the paper when you come undone. Undone.
Well, I was thumbing from Montgomery. I had my guitar on my back when a stranger stopped beside me in an antique Cadillac. He was dressed like 1950, half drunk and hollow-eyed. He said, "It's a long walk to Nashville. Would you like to ride, son?" Well, I sat down in the front seat. He turned on the radio, and them sad old songs coming out of them speakers was solid country gold. Then I noticed the stranger was ghost white pale when he asked me for a light, and I knew there was something strange about this ride. He said, "Drifter, can you make folks cry when you play and sing? Have you paid your dues? Can you moan the blues? Can you bend them guitar strings?" He said, "Boy, can you make folks feel what you feel inside? 'Cause if you're big star bound, let me warn you, it's a long, hard ride." Then he cried just south of Nashville, and he turned that car around. He said, "This is where you get off, boy, 'cause I'm going back to Alabama." As I stepped out of that Cadillac, I said, "Mister, many thanks." He said, "You don't have to call me Mister. The whole world called me Hank." He said, "Drifter, can you make folks cry when you play and sing? Have you paid your dues? Can you moan the blues? Can you bend them guitar strings?" He said, "Lord, can you make folks feel what you feel inside? 'Cause if you're big star bound, let me warn you, it's a long, hard ride." He said, "Drifter, can you make folks cry when you play and sing? Have you paid your dues? Can you moan the blues? Can you bend them guitar strings?" He said, "Boy, can you make folks feel what you feel inside? But if you're big star bound, let me warn you, it's a long, hard ride." If you're big star bound, let me warn you, it's a long, hard ride.